Right now on Hoosier News Source, the search for a new IU president and the plan for 2021 spring study abroad.
And I have warmer temperatures as well as a look at the fast approaching Hurricane Delta. Hoosier News Source starts now.
Hello and welcome to Hoosier News Source. I'm Callie Lichter. We begin Hoosier News Source with the latest COVID-19 updates. Andrew Lemparski is on campus with the latest numbers from the university. Andrew?
Thanks, Callie. It's the fourth week in a row that we've seen a decrease in cases across the university. Overall, just 104 of the over 10,000 tests that were reported this week were positive. That's the lowest we've ever seen. Greek houses are down to a positivity rate of just 1.6%, residence halls 1.2%, and off-campus just 0.5%. And here on Jordan Avenue, things are looking a little different too. Just a few weeks ago, over 30 houses were on quarantine orders. Now that number is down to just 6. But as for moving forward, the Director of Mitigation Testing, Dr. Aaron Carroll, had this to say during a webinar this week.
These numbers are a good continued trend. Doesn't mean we should relax, doesn't mean we should back off at all or stop doing all the important things we're doing. Winter's coming, cold weather, hanging out inside more. But it's important to note when, good things are going on and that we appreciate all of the things and all the hard work that everybody on all our campuses are doing.
For Hoosier News Source, I'm Andrew Lamparski. Callie, back to you.
Thanks, Andrew. The search for a new university president begins as McRobbie plans to retire at the end of the spring semester. At their last meeting, the IU Board of Trustees approved 2 committees to manage the nationwide search for IU's next president. The candidates must share IU's core values of diversity, equality, and inclusion. Women and minority candidates will be prioritized. The committee's goal is to have 3 to 5 finalists selected by early 2021. Last spring, IU students were sent home from their semester abroad due to COVID-19. And now, travel plans for this upcoming spring are still undecided. The Office of Overseas Study delayed their announcement on whether IU students will actually participate in study abroad for spring 2021 until early November. They encourage students to plan for a semester on campus just in case. The office also recommends students don't purchase air travel tickets until 60 days prior to their program start date.
I don't think any junior before has had to wait this long to know if they're going abroad, and getting into that mental mindset of, okay, I'm staying here at IU or I'm going abroad, that would be really helpful to know and mentally prepare.
For more information on overseas studies and the pandemic, visit overseas.iu.edu. Family and friends are remembering an IU PhD candidate who was struck by a pickup truck on September 29th at the corner of 3rd Street and Indiana Avenue. Daniel Plebanik was in the Department of Psychological and Brain Science. Plebanik was injured after a box truck ran a red light and hit a pickup truck, forcing it into Plebanik's direction and hitting him. He was not able to recover from his injuries and was pronounced dead on Wednesday, September 30th at the IU Health Methodist Hospital in Indianapolis. There is now a memorial at the corner to honor the IU student. The pandemic affects all aspects of college, but how has it affected enrollment at IU? IUS-TV News reporter Sammy Nance joins us in studio.
Thanks, Callie. That's right. I took a look at previous year's enrollment compared to now. IU Bloomington's international student enrollment has taken a 19.5% drop in 2020. This is largely due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Many students have had to make other arrangements for schooling because they were not able to travel back to Bloomington from their home countries. While this drop is significant and expected, the outcome could have been much worse. IU is still trying to maintain their relationship with international students and are actively recruiting for the spring.
Trying to recruit internationally, but that is part of our mission. We're continuing to do that. We hope those numbers will rebound next fall and even in the spring possibly, but we will certainly have to work with our international students to make sure that they have access to the services that they need.
IU hopes that in the future, international students feel that they can attend safely. There is expected to be an increase in numbers within the next few years. Callie, back to you.
Thanks, Sammy. In an 8-1 vote, the Board of Trustees approved the removal of David Starr Jordan's name from campus landmarks. The former university president was a crusader of the American eugenics movement, for which his involvement was racially motivated. Campus landmarks to receive new names are Jordan Hall, Jordan River, Jordan Parking Garage, and areas of Jordan Avenue. The renaming committee assigned temporary names to these locations until an appropriate name can be chosen. Coming up on Hoosier News Source, we hear the latest on IU sports, and Caroline Clare joins us with this week's weather. Stay with us. Welcome back to Hoosier News Source. Caroline Clare has the latest on this week's forecast. Caroline?
Thanks, Callie. The 26th named tropical system is making its way up through the Gulf. As you can see, Hurricane Delta is making way through the Gulf as it approaches the U.S., planning to make landfall just west of New Orleans as a Category 1 hurricane, even though now it is Category 4 hurricane. As it passes through Panama and Cuba, it will be decreasing, and Category 1 may not sound very damaging, but that can still be winds up to 100 miles an hour. What this means for us here in Bloomington is as it makes its way up into the continent, it will be bringing rain with it for us for the weekend. And although we'll be receiving rain this weekend, it was a decently dry September. If we take a look at the September climate report here in Bloomington, it only rained 0.12 of an inch, which is nearly 3.5 inches less than average for September. Not only was it a dry September, it was slightly cooler than the average as well. High just about averaging at 75 and a low of 55. If we take a look at the extended outlook, we will see warmer temperatures for this week. High reaching 80 on Wednesday, and as we make our way through the weekend, rain chances increase, slight decrease in temperatures, but nothing significant. That rain chance from Hurricane Delta will be causing rain through the weekend into the next week. Enjoy this warm week and make sure to be weather aware as you head out for the weekend. Callie, back to you.
Thanks, Caroline. Lexi Vennetti joins us with the latest on IU sports. Lexi?
Thanks, Callie. This week I interviewed one of the IU softball captains, Grayson Radcliffe. Each week I will have an interview with an IU athlete that focuses on this or that format questions to get to know the athletes better on and off the field. We talked about everything like dogs versus cats and cardio versus weights. Check it out.
This or that, binge watching TV or movies?
Ooh, movies for sure. I can never really get into TV shows, and I'm a huge Disney movie person or sports movie person, so I enjoy watching both of those.
What would be your favorite Disney and sports movie then?
Okay, The Lion King Disney movies is so good, especially like the new one that they made with the real life characters and real life animals. That's just so enjoyable to watch. And then real movies, I love Mamma Mia. Me and my roommates love to binge watch those too. But We Are Marshall holds a special place in my heart too, so I love that movie as well.
So next, this or that, Instagram or Twitter?
Oof. I think I'm gonna have to go with Twitter just because I enjoy watching all the sports videos that gets put up.
Cardio or weights?
I'm gonna have to go with weights, but then when you add in like the cardio factor, you can go quick through a workout. We like to have really upbeat, fast tempoed workouts, and so it's almost like you get a cardio exercise while you're lifting, and I don't think you can beat that.
And what is the best study spot on campus?
Best study spot on campus. I like to go into Dunn's Woods sometimes and just find a little bench in there and sit down, so that way you kind of get the visual of everything, but then it's a nice quiet spot, or right outside the IMU. That can be really pretty too, especially when they hang the lights and you kind of get that scenery overlooking all of campus.
Dogs or cats?
Oh, people are gonna go crazy, but I have to say cats. I have a cat at home that I've had since I was 7, and she is just like, oh, my cat. I love dogs too, but my mom sends me all these little pictures of my cat at home and videos of her, and so I miss her dearly.
Pizza X or Mother Bears?
Ooh, Mother Bears. I remember on my first birthday here, my sophomore year, my mom got Mother Bears and ordered it to the field for after practice, and the whole team ate it. And so ever since then, I'm a Mother Bears person.
And would you consider breakfast, lunch, or dinner to be the best meal?
Breakfast. I have to eat breakfast. I wake up, I make it every morning. I feel like there's such a wide variety. Like, I'm the type of person that can eat breakfast for dinner. and so that is by far my favorite meal.
What was your go-to quarantine activity?
Go-to quarantine activity at home was probably just going to do stuff with my sister and brother outside. We went and hiked a lot. We made our own workouts, and then we have a pretty big backyard, so just anything that we could do to get outside, we just did it. We went outside and enjoyed the weather and had some fun together, so that was nice.
Do you consider yourself more of a dancer or a singer in your free time having fun?
Oh goodness. Well, I'm not very good at either, so let's preface by saying that. But I do start singing random songs at all points of time while we're in the house. My roommates will look at me and they'll be like, what are you doing? Because it's just a song will come to my head and I'll just start belting it out. So I think I'd have to go singer.
What is one piece of advice that you've received both at IU and softball and outside of it that has been so impactful and just something that you remember to this day?
That's a great question. I think just learning to take every day, like day by day, and then you just win the moment right in front of your face. And if you can win that moment on this day, then it's going to carry over and you can win the moment on the next day, and then you win the next day, and all those moments that you add together and that you just continue to win them, you're just going to have a successful year. You're going to have a successful season. You're going to have a successful semester wherever you invest yourself into, whether it's softball, school, your social life. When you win that moment and you're where your feet are, I think that you can be extremely successful in what you do. So Coach Stanton and Coach Fern and Coach Bell are a huge factor of that. They preach that every day, and so that's something that sticks with me. So that would have to be the best bit of advice that I've received since being here.
This was super fun, and we'll have another one next week along with IU sports updates. Callie, back to you.
Thanks, Lexi, and thank you for watching this week's episode of Hoosier News Source. To learn more about this week's stories, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at IUSTV News. I'm Callie Lichter from Bloomington, Indiana. We'll see you next time.